Argument and dramatis personae for Andromache by Euripides, translated by Arthur Sanders Way. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The argument. When Troy was taken by the Greeks, Andromache, wife of that Hector whom Achilles slew ere himself was slain by the arrows which Apollo guided, was given in the dividing of the spoils to Neoptolemus, Achilles' son. So he took her overseas to the land of Thessaly, and loved her, and entreated her kindly, and she bare him a son in her captivity. But after 10 years, Neoptolemus took to wife a princess of Sparta, Hermione, daughter of Menelaus and Helen. But to these was no child born, and the soul of Hermione grew bitter and jealous against Andromache. Now Neoptolemus, in his indignation for his father's death, had upbraided Apollo therewith, wherefore he now journeyed to Delphi, vainly hoping by prayer and sacrifice to assuage the wrath of the god. But so soon as he was gone, Hermione sought to avenge herself on Andromache. And Menelaus came hither also, and these twain went about to slay the captive and her child. Wherefore Andromache hid her son, and took sanctuary at the altar of the goddess Thetis, expecting till Peleus, her lord's grandsire, should come to save her. And herein are set forth her sore peril and deliverance. Also it is told how Neoptolemus found death at Delphi, and how he that contrived his death took his wife. Dramatis personae. Andromache, widow of Hector, former wife of Neoptolemus.
Read by Wendy Katzhiller.
Handmaid, a Trojan captive.
Read by Agnes Robert Bear.
Hermione, daughter of Menelaus, wife of Neoptolemus.
Read by Rita Boutros.
Menelaus, king of Sparta, brother of Agamemnon.
Read by Algie Pug.
Molossus, son of Andromache and Neoptolemus.
Read by Inko.
Peleus, father of Achilles.
Read by Beeswax Candle.
Nurse of Hermione.
Read by Sonia.
Orestes, son of Agamemnon.
Read by Greg Giordano.
Messenger.
Read by Larry Wilson.
Thetis, a sea goddess, wife of Peleus.
Read by DC.
Chorus of Maidens of Phthia in Thessaly. Read by Alan Mapstone. Stage directions.
Read by Jim Hedrick.
Scene at the temple of Thetis, beside the palace of Neoptolemus, in Phthia of Thessaly. End of argument and dramatis personae.
Part 1 of Andromache by Euripides, translated by Arthur Sanders Way. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Andromache sitting on the steps of the altar of Thetis.
Beauty of Asian land, O town of Thebes, whence, decked with gold of costly bride array, to Priam's royal hearth long since I came, espoused to Hector for his true wed wife. I, envied in times past, Andromache, but now above all others most unblessed of women that have been or shall be ever, who saw mine husband Hector by Achilles slain, saw my Astyanax, the child I bare unto my lord, down from a high tower hurled, that day the Hellenes won the plain of Troy. Myself a slave, accounted erst the child of a free house, none freer, came to Hellas, spear-guerdon chosen out for the island prince, Neoptolemus, from Troy's spoil given to him. Here, on the marches twixt Pharsalia's town and Phthyia's plains I dwell, where that sea-queen, Thetis, with Peleus lived aloof from men, shunning the throng, wherefore Thessalians call it, by reason of her bridal, Thetis' close. Here made Achilles' son his dwelling place, and leaveth Peleus still Pharsalia's king, loath, while the ancient lives, to take his sceptre. And I have borne a man-child in these halls unto Achilles' son, my body's lord, and, sunk albeit in misery heretofore, was I lured on the hope in my son's life to find some help, some shield from all mine ills. But since my lord hath wed Hermione, the Spartan, thrusting my thrall's couch aside, with cruel wrongs she persecuteth me, saying that I by secret charms make her a barren stock, and hated of her lord, would in her stead be lady of the house, casting her out, the lawful wife, by force. Ah me! With little joy I won that place, and now have yielded up. Great Zeus be witness, that not of mine own will I shared this couch. Yet will she not believe, but seeks to slay me, and her sire Menelaus helpeth her. He hath come from Sparta, now is he within, for this same end, and I in fear have fled to Thetis' shrine, anigh unto this house, and crouch here, so to be redeemed from death. For Peleus and his seed revere this place, this witness to the bridal of Nereus' child, but him, mine only son, by stealth I send to another's home, in dread lest he be slain. For now his father is not nigh to aid, nor helps his son, being gone unto the land of Delphi, to atone to Loxias, for that mad hour when he to Pytho went, and for his slain sire claimed redress of Phoebus, if haply prayer for those transgressions past might win the gods' grace for the days to be.
Enter Handmaid.
Queen, oh, I shun not by this name to call thee, which I knew thy right in that old home, thine home, what time in Troy land we abode. I love thee as I loved thy living lord, and now, with evil tidings come to thee, in dread lest any of our masters hear, and ruth for thee, for fearful plots are laid, of Menelaus and his child, beware.
Dear fellow thrall, for fellow thrall thou art to her that once was queen, is now unblessed. What do they? What new web of guile weave they, who fain would slay the utter wretched me?
Thy son, oh hapless are they set to slay, whom forth the halls thou tookest privily.
Woe! Hath she learned the hiding of my child? How? Oh, unhappy, how am I undone?
I know not, but themselves I heard say this. Yea, seeking him Menelaus hath gone forth.
Undone, undone, O child! These vultures twain will clutch thee and will slay. He that is named thy father, yet in Delphi lingereth.
I ween thou shouldest not fare so evilly, if he were here. But friendless art thou now.
Of Peleus' coming is there not a word?
Too old is he to help thee, were he here.
Yet did I send for him not once, nor twice.
Dost think the palace messengers heed thee?
How should they? Wilt thou be my messenger?
But how excuse long absence from the halls?
Thou shalt find many pleas. A woman thou.
'Twere peril. Keen watch keeps Hermione.
Lo there, thy friends in woe dost thou renounce.
No, no, cast thou no such reproach on me. Lo, I will go. What matters the life of a bondwoman, though I light on death?
Go then, and I to heaven will lengthen out my lamentations and my moans and tears, wherein I am ever whelmed.
Exit Handmaid.
'Tis in the heart of woman with a mournful pleasure I to bear on lip and tongue her present ills. Not one have I, but many and one to moan. The city of my fathers, Hector slain, the ruthless lot whereunto I am yoked, who fell on thraldom's day unmerited. Never mayest thou call any mortal blessed, or ever thou hast seen his dying day, seen how he passed therethrough and came on death. No bride was the Helen with whom unto steep-built Ilium hasted Paris. Nay, bringing a curse to his bowers of espousal he passed. O Troy, for her sake, by the 1,000 galleys of Hellas wasted, with fire and with sword destroyed by her fierce battle spirit thou wast. Thou and Hector, my lord, whom the scion of Thetis, the sea-king's daughter, O my anguish, dragged round the ramparts of Ilium dead. And myself from my bowers was haled to the strand of the exile water, casting the sore-loathed veil of captivity over mine head. Ah, but my tears were down-streaming in flood when the galley swift-racing bore me afar from my town, from my bowers, from my lord in the tomb. Woe for mine anguish! What boots it on light any more to be gazing, who am yonder Hermione's thrall, ever harried and hunted, of whom suppliant I cling to the goddess's feet that mine hands are embracing, wasting in tears as a spring welling forth from the rock-riven gloom.
Enter chorus of Pythian maidens.
Lady, who, suppliant crouched on the pavement of Thetis' shrine, clingest long to thy sanctuary. I, daughter of Phthia, yet come unto thee of an Asian line, if I haply may find for thee some healing or help for the tangle of desperate trouble, whose meshes of bitterest fugue around thee and Hermione twine. For that, O thou afflicted one, ye twain are unequally yoked in the bride band's double, that compass Achilles' son. Look on thy lot, take account of the ills whereinto thou art come. Thy lady's rival art thou, an Ilian to rival a child of a lordly Laconian home. Forsake thou the temple now, wherein sheep to the sea-queen are burned. What boots it with wailing, and tears to consume thy beauty, aghast at oppression's doom upon thee by the Lord's hands brought? The might of the strong overbeareth thee, all unavailing is thy struggling, lo, thou art naught. Nay, leave thou the holy place of the lady of Nereus' race. Discern how thou needs must abide in a land of strangers, an alien city, where thou seest no friend, neither any to pity. O thou who art whelmed in calamity's tide, unhappiest bride! I pitied thee, Ilian dame, when thy feet unto these halls came. But I feared, for my lords be stern, that I held my peace. But thy lot ill-fated, in silence I compassionated, lest the child of the daughter of Zeus should discern o'er thy woes how I yearn.
Enter Hermione.
With bravery of gold about mine head, and on my form this pomp of broidered robes, hither I come. No gifts be these I wear, or from Achilles, or from Peleus' house, but from the land Laconian, Sparta crowned. My father Menelaus with rich dower gave these, that so my tongue should not be curbed. This is mine answer, maidens, unto you. But thou, a woman thrall, won by the spear, wouldst cast me out, and have this home thine own, and through thy spells I am hated by my lord. My womb is barren, ruined all of thee, for cunning is the soul of Asia's daughters for such deeds. Yet therefrom will I stay thee, and this the Nereids feign shall help thee naught. Altar nor temple, thou shalt die, shalt die. Yea, though one stoop to save thee, man or god, yet must thou, for thy haughty spirit of old, crouch low, abased, and grovel at my knee, and sweep mine house, and sprinkle water dews there from the golden ewers with thine hand. And where thou art, know. Hector is not here, nor Priam, nor his gold. A Greek town this. Yet to such folly hast thou come, thou wretch, that with this son of him who slew thy lord thou darest to lie, and to the slayer bear sons. Such like is the whole barbaric race, father with daughter, son with mother weds, sister with brother, kin the nearest wade through blood. Their laws forbid no whit thereof. Bring not such things midst us. We count it shame that o'er two wives one man hold wedlock's reins. But to one lawful love men turn their eyes, content, all such as look for peace in the home.
In woman's heart is jealousy inborn, 'tis bitterest unto wedlock rivals, aye.
Out upon thee! A curse is youth to mortals, when with youth a man hath not implanted righteousness. I fear me lest with thee my thraldom bar defence, though many a righteous plea I have, and even my victory turn unto mine hurt. They that are arrogant brook not to be in argument o'ermastered by the lowly. Yet will I not abandon mine own cause. Say, thou rash girl, in what assurance strong should I thrust thee from lawful wedlock rights? Is Sparta meaner than the Phrygians' burg? Soareth my fortune? Dost thou see me free? Or by my young and rounded loveliness, my city's greatness, and my noble friends exalted, would I wrest from thee thine home? Sooth, to bear sons myself instead of thee, slave sons, a wretched drag upon my life. Nay, though thou bear no children, who will brook that sons of mine be lords of Phthia land? O yea, the Greeks love me for Hector's sake, myself obscure, nor ever a Phrygian queen. Not of my philters thy lord hateth thee, but that thy nature is no mate for his. This is the love-charm, woman. 'Tis not beauty that witcheth bridegrooms, nay, but nobleness. Let aught vex thee. Oh, then a mighty thing is thy Laconian city, Scyrus naught. Thy wealth thou flauntest, settest above Achilles, Menelaus, therefore thy lord hateth thee. A wife, though low-born be her lord, must yet content her, without wrangling arrogance. But if in Thrace with snow floods overstreamed thou hadst for lord a prince, where one man shares the wedlock right in turn with many wives, wouldst thou have slain these? Aye, and so be found branding all women with the slur of lust, which were our shame? True, more than men's our hearts sicken for love, yet honor curbs desire. Ah, dear, dear Hector, I would take to my heart even thy leman, if love tripped thy feet. Yea, often to thy bastards would I hold my breast, that I might give thee none offence. So doing, I drew with cords of wifely love my lord. But thou, for jealous fear, forbidst even gloaming's dews to drop upon thy lord. Seek not to o'erpass in cravings of desire thy mother, lady. Daughters in whom dwells discretion ought to flee vile mothers' paths.
Mistress, so far as lightly thou mayst do, deign to make truce with her from wordy strife.
And speak'st thou loftily, and wranglest thou, as thou wert continent, I of continence void?
Void? Yea, if thou be judged by this thy claim.
Never in my breast thy discretion dwell.
A young wife thou for such immodest words.
Words? Thine are deeds, to the uttermost of thy power.
Cannot thy hungry jealousy hold its peace?
Why, stands not this right first with women ever?
In honor's limits, 'tis dishonor else.
We live not under laws barbaric here.
There, even as here, shame waits on shameful things.
Keen-witted, keen, yet shalt thou surely die.
Seest thou the eye of Thetis turned on thee?
In hate of thy land, for Achilles' blood.
Helen slew him, not I. Thy mother, thine.
And wilt thou dare yet deeper prick mine hurt?
Lo, I am silent, and I curb my mouth.
Confess thy sorceries, this I came to hear.
I say thou hast less wit than thou dost need.
Wilt leave this hallowed close of the sea goddess?
If I shall not die, else I leave it never.
'Tis fixed. I wait not till my lord return.
Yet will I yield me not ere then to thee.
Fire will I bring, thy plea will I not heed.
Kindle upon me, this the gods shall mark.
And to thy flesh bring anguish of dread wounds.
Hack crimson her altar, she shall visit for it.
Barbarian chattel, stubborn impudence, dost thou brave death? Soon will I make thee rise from this thy session, yea, of thine own will. Such lure have I for thee, yet will I hide the word. The deed itself shall soon declare. Aye, sit thou fast, though clamps of molten lead encompass thee. Yet will I make thee rise, ere come Achilles' son, in whom thou trustest.
Exit.
I do trust. Strange that God hath given to men salves for the venom of all creeping pests, but none hath ever yet devised a balm for venomous woman, worse than fire or viper, so dire a mischief unto men are we.
Herald of woes, to the glen deep hiding, in Ida came Zeus's and Maia's son. As who reigneth a triumph of white steeds guiding, the goddesses three did the god pace on. With frontlet of beauty, with trappings of doom, for the strife of the steadings of herds did they come, to the stripling shepherd in solitude biding, and the hearth of the lodge in the forest lone. They have passed 'neath the leaves of the glen, from the plashing of the mountain spring radiant in rose flush they rise. To the king's son they wended, while to and fro flashing, the gibes of their lips matched the scorn of their eyes. But 'twas Cyprus by promise of guile overcame, ah, sweet to the ear, but for deathless shame, and confusion to Phrygia when Troy's towers crashing, ruin were toppled her bitter prize. Oh, had she dealt him, that mother which bore him, a death blow cleaving his head in twain, when shrieked Cassandra her prophecy o'er him, ere his eyrie on Ida o'erlooked Troy's plain. By the sacred bay shrieked, slay without pity, the curse and the ruin of Priam's city. Unto prince, unto elder, she came to implore him to slay it, the infant foredoomed their bane. Then had he never been made an occasion of thraldom to Ilium's daughters, O queen? Now wert thou throned in a palace, thy nation no 10 years' agony then had seen, with the war cries of Hellas rolling their thunder round Troy, with spear lightning flashing thereunder. Nor the couch of the bride were a desolation, nor bereft of their sons had the grandsires been.
End of Part 1. Part 2 of Andromache by Euripides, translated by Arthur Sanders Way. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Enter Menelaus with attendants, bringing molasses.
I have caught thy son, whom thou didst hide unmarked of her my daughter, in a neighbour house. So thee this goddess image was to save, him, they that hid him. But thou hast been found, woman, less keen of wit than Menelaus. Now if thou leave not, and avoid this flaw, he shall be slaughtered, he, in thy life's stead. Weigh this then, whether thou consent to die, or that for thy transgression he be slain, even thy sin against me and my child.
Ah, reputation! Many a man ere this of none account hast thou set up on high, such as have fair fame based upon true worth, happy I count. But to these living lies I grant no claim to wisdom save chance show. Thou, captaining the chosen men of Greece, didst thou, weak dastard, wrest from Priam Troy, who at thy daughter's bidding, she a child, doth breathe such fury, enterest the lists with a woman, a poor captive? I count Troy shamed by thy touch, thee by her fall unraised. Goodly in outward show be they which seem wise, but within they are as other men, save in wealth haply. This is their great strength. Menelaus, come now, reason we together. Grant that thy child have slain me, grant me dead. Ne'er shall she flee my blood's pollution curse, and in men's eyes shalt thou too share this guilt. Thy part in this her deed shall weigh thee down. But if I 'scape your hands, that I die not, Then will ye slay my son? And the child's death, think ye his sire shall hold it a little thing? So void of manhood, Troy proclaims him not. Nay, he shall follow duty's call, be proved by deeds of Peleus worthy, and Achilles shall thrust thy child forth. Thou what plea will find for a new spouse? This lie, the saintly soul of this pure thing shrank from her wicked lord. Who shall wed such? Will keep her in thine halls spouseless, a grey-haired widow? O thou wretch, seest not the floods of evil bursting o'er thee? How many a wedlock wrong wouldst thou be fain thy child knew rather than the ills I name? We ought not for slight cause court grievous harm, nor, if we women be a baleful curse, ought men to make their nature womanlike. For if I practice on thy child by philters, and seal her womb, according to her tale, willingly, nothing loth, nor low at altars crouching, myself will face the penalty at her lord's hands, to whom I am guilty of wrong no less, in blasting him with childlessness. Hereon I stand. But one thing in thy nature I fear. 'Twas in a woman's quarrel too thou didst destroy the Phrygians' hapless town.
Thou hast said too much, as woman against man. Yes, and thy soul's discretion hath shot wide.
Woman, these are but trifles, all unworthy of my state royal. Thou say'st it, and of Greece. Yet know, when one hath set his heart on aught, more than to take a Troy is this to him. I stand my daughter's champion, for I count no trifle robbery of marriage right. Naught else a wife may suffer matcheth this. Losing her husband, she doth lose her life. Over my thralls her lord hath claim to rule, and over his like right have I and mine. For naught that friends have, if true friends they be, is private. Held in common is all wealth. Waiting the absent, if I order not mine own things well, weak am I, and not wise. But I will make thee leave the goddess' shrine, for if thou die, this boy escapeth doom. But if thou wilt not die, him will I slay. One of you twain must needs bid life farewell.
Woe! Dire lot drawing, bitter choice of life thou givest me. If I draw, I am wretched made, and if I draw not, all unblessed I am. O thou for paltry cause that dost great wrong, hearken! Why slay me? For what crime, what town have I betrayed, have slain what child of thine, have fired what home? Beside my lord I couched perforce, and lo, thou wilt slay me, not him the culprit. But thou passest by the cause, and to the after issue hurriest. Woe for these ills! O hapless fatherland, what wrongs I bear! Why must I be a mother, and add a double burden to my load? Why wail the past, and o'er the present woes shed not a tear, nor take account thereof? Hector by those wheels trailed to death I saw Ilium piteously enwrapped in flame. I passed aboard the Argive ships, a slave, hailed by mine hair, and when to Phthia land I came, to Hector's murderers was I wed. What joy hath life for me? What thing to look to? Unto my present fortune, or the past? This one child had I left, light of my life. Him will these slay who count this righteousness. No, never, if my wretched life can save. For him hope lives, if he be saved. And mine were shame to die not for my child. Lo, I forsake the altar. Yours I am to hack, bind, murder, strangle with the cord.
Rises.
O child, thy mother, that thou mayest not die, passeth to Hades. If thou scape the doom, think on thy mother, how I suffered, died, and to thy sire with kisses and with tears streaming and little arms about his neck, tell how I fared. To all mankind, I wot, children are life. Who scoffs at joys unproved, though less his grief, a void is in his bliss.
Pitying I hear, for pitiful is woe to all men, alien though the afflicted be. Thou shouldst, Menelaus, reconcile her and thy child, that she may rest from pain.
Andromache leaves the altar.
Seize me this woman. Round her coil your arms, my thralls. No words of friendship shall she hear. I, that thou mightest leave the holy altar, held forth the lure of thy child's death, and drew thee to slip into my hands for slaughtering. And for thy fate, know thou that this is so. But for thy son, my child shall be his judge, whether her pleasure be to slay or spare. Hence to the house, that thou, slave as thou art, mayst learn no more to rail against the free.
Woe's me! By guile thou hast stolen on me, betrayed.
Publish it to the world, not I deny it.
Count ye this wisdom, dwellers by Eurotas?
Aye, Trojans too, that wronged ones should revenge.
Is there no God, think'st thou, nor reckoning day?
I'll meet it when it comes. Thee will I kill.
And this, my birdie, torn from 'neath my wings?
Oh nay, I yield him to my daughter's mercy.
Well may I wail at once thy death, my child.
Good sooth, but sorry hope remains for him.
O ye in all folks' eyes most loathed of men, dwellers in Sparta, senates of treachery, princes of lies, weavers of webs of guile, thoughts crooked, wholesome never, devious all. A crime is your supremacy in Greece. What vileness lives not with you? Swarming murders, covetousness, convicted liars, saying this with the tongue while still your hearts mean that. Now ruin seize ye, yet to me is death not grievous as thou think'st. That was my death, when Phrygia's hapless city was destroyed, and my renowned lord, whose spear full oft made thee a seaman, dastard from a landsman. Thou meetest a woman, soul-appalling hero, now, and would slay. Slay on. My tongue shall fawn in flattery never on thy child or thee. What if thou be in Sparta some great one? Even so in Troy was I. Am I brought low? Boast not herein. Thine hour shall haply come.
Exit, led by Menelaus.
Never rival brides blessed marriage estate, neither sons not born of one mother. They were strife to the home, they were anguish of hate, For the couch of the husband suffice one mate, be it shared of none other. Never land but hath borne a twofold yoke of kings with wearier straining. There is burden on burden, and feud mid her folk, and twixt rival lyres ever discord broke by the Muses ordaining. When the blasts hurl onward the staggering sail, shall the galley by helmsmen twain be guided? Wise counsellors many far less shall avail than the simple one's purpose and power undivided. Even this in the home, in the city, is power unto such as have wit to discern the hour. The child of the chieftain of Sparta's array hath proved it, as fire is her jealousy burning. Troy's hapless daughter she lusteth to slay, and her son, in her hatred's vengeance yearning. Godless and lawless and heartless it is. Queen, thou shalt yet be requited for this.
Enter Menelaus and servants leading Andromache and child.
Lo, these I behold, twain yoked as one, in love, in sorrow, affront of the hall. For the vote is cast, and the doom forth gone. O woeful mother, O hapless son, who must die since her master hath humbled his thrall, though naught death worthy hast thou, child, done, that in condemnation of kings thou shouldst fall.
Lo, blood my wrists red staining, from cruel bonds hard straining. Lo, feet the grave's brink gaining.
O mother, 'neath thy wing I crouch where death's shades gather.
Death, Thyians name it rather butchery.
O my father, help to thy loved ones bring.
There, darling, shalt thou rest, pillowed upon my breast, where corpse to corpse shall cling.
Ah, me, the torture looming, o'er me, o'er thee, the coming, mother of what dread thing?
Down, down to the grave! From our foemen's towers ye came, and for several cause unto slaughter ye twain be constrained. The sentence is ours that condemneth thee, woman. This boy my daughter Hermione dooms. Utter folly it were for our foemen's avenging their offspring to spare, when into our hands they be given to slay, that fear from our house be banished for aye.
Oh, for that hand I cry on, a husband to rely on, thy spear, O Priam's scion.
Ah, woe is me! What spell find I for doom's undoing?
Pray at thy lord's knees, suing child.
Molossus, kneeling to Menelaus.
Friend, in mercy ruing, my death of pardon tell.
My streaming eyelids weep, as from a sheer crag steep the sunless waters well.
Woe's me! O might revealing, but come of help, of healing, our darkness to dispel.
What dost thou to fall at my feet, making moan, to a rock of the sea, to a wave doom-crested? True helper am I, good sooth, to mine own. No love spell from thee on my spirit hath rested. Too deeply it drained my life-blood away to win yon Troy and thy dam for a prey. Herein be thy joy, and be this thy crown, when thou passest to Hades' earth dens down.
Lo, lo, I see yon Peleus drawing nigh. In haste his aged foot strides hitherward.
End of Part 2. Part 3 of Andromache by Euripides, translated by Arthur Sanders Way. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Enter Peleus, attended.
Ho ye! Ho, thou the overseer of slaughter! What meaneth this? How is the house, and why in evil case? What lawless plots weave ye? Menelaus hold, press not where justice bars.
2 Attendant.
Lead the way faster. 'Tis a strait, methinks, brooks no delay. But now, if ever, fain would I renew the vigour of my youth. But first, like breeze that fills the sails, will I breathe life through her. Say, by what right have these pinioned thine hands in bonds, and with thy son hail? For like you with lamb thou goest to death, whilst I and thy true lord be far away.
These, ancient, deathward hail me with my child, as thou dost see. Why should I tell it thee, seeing not once I sent thee instant summons, but by the mouth of messengers untold? Thou knowest, hast heard, I trow, the household strife of yon man's daughter that means death to me. And now, from Thetis' altars, hers who bare thy noble son, hers whom thou reverencest, they tear, they hail me, with no form of trial condemning, for the absent waiting not, my lord, but knowing my defenselessness, and this poor child's, the utter innocent, whom they would slay along with hapless me. But I beseech thee, ancient, falling low before thy knees, I cannot stretch my hand unto thy beard. O dear, O kindly face, in God's name save, else I shall surely die, to your shame, ancient, and my misery.
Loose, I command, her bonds, ere some one rue, and set ye free this captive's pinioned hands.
This I forbid, who am no less than thou, and have more right of lordship over her.
How? Hither wilt thou come to rule mine house? Sufficeth not thy sway of Sparta's folk?
'Twas I that took her captive out of Troy.
Nay, but my son's son gained her, prize of war.
All mine are his mine. Is this not so?
For good, not evil dealing, nor for murder.
Her shalt thou rescue never from mine hand.
This staff shall make thine head to stream with blood.
Touch me, and thou shalt see. I draw but near.
Thou a man? Coward of cowards bred, what part or lot hast thou amongst true men? Thou art by a Phrygian from thy wife divorced, who leftest hearth and home unbarred, unwarded, as who kept in his halls a virtuous wife, and she the vilest. The one should essay, virtuous could daughter of Sparta never be. They gad abroad with young men from their homes, and with bare thighs and loose disgirdled vesture wrestle with them, things intolerable to me. And is it wonder worthy then that ye train not your women to be chaste? This well might Helen have asked thee, who forsook thine hearth, and from thine halls went revelling forth with a young gallant to an alien land. Yet for her sake thou gatherest that huge host of Greeks, and leddest them to Ilium. Thou shouldst have spewed her forth, stirred no spear, who hadst found her vile, but let her there abide. Yea, paid a price to take her never back. But nowise thus the wind of thine heart blew. Nay, many a gallant life hast thou destroyed, and childless made grey mothers in their halls, and white-haired sires hast robbed of noble sons. My wretched self am one, who see in thee, like some foul fiend, Achilles' murderer. Thou who alone unwounded camest from Troy, in daintiest arms and dainty sheets unstained, borne thither, hither back didst bring again. I warned my bridegroom grandson not to make affinity with thee, nor to receive in his halls a wanton's child. Such bear abroad their mother's shame. Give heed to this my reed, wooers, a virtuous mother's daughter choose. Nay more, how dost thou outrage thine own brother, bidding him sacrifice his child? Poor fool, such was thy dread to lose thy worthless wife. And when Troy fell, thither too I trace thee. Thy wife thou slewest not when thou hadst her trapped. Thou sawest her bosom, didst let fall the sword, didst kiss her, that bold traitress, fondly her by Cyprus overborne, a recreant wretch. And to my son's house comest thou, he afar, and ravagest, wouldst slay a helpless woman shamefully, and her boy. This boy shall make thee and that daughter in thine halls yet rue, though he were thrice a bastard. Oft the yield of barren ground o'erpasseth deep rich soil, and better are bastards oft than sons true born. Take hence thy daughter. Better 'tis to have the poor and upright, or for marriage kin or friend, than the vile rich. Thou art naught.
From small beginnings, bitter feuds the tongue brings forth. For this cause wise men take good heed, that with their friends they bring not strife to pass.
Now wherefore should ye call the greybeards wise, and them which Greece accounted prudent once? When thou Peleus, son of sire renowned, speakest, my marriage kinsman, thine own shame, rail'st on me for a foreign woman's sake, whom thou shouldst chase beyond the streams of Nile, and beyond Phasis, yea, and cheer me on. This dame of Asia's mainland, wherein fell unnumbered sons of Hellas slain with spears, this woman who had part in thy son's blood. For Paris, he that slew thy son Achilles, was Hector's brother, and she Hector's wife, and thou wouldst pass beneath one roof with her, wouldst stoop to break bread with her at thy board. In thine house let her bear our bitterest foes, whom I, of forethought for thyself and me, would slay, and lo, from mine hands is she torn. Come, reason we together. No shame this. If my child bear no sons, this woman's brood grow up, wilt thou establish these as lords of thy land? Shall they, barbarians born, rule Greeks? And I, forsooth, am all unwise, who hate the wrong, but wisdom dwells with thee. Consider this, too. Hadst thou given thy daughter to a citizen, and she were thus misused, hadst thou sat still? I trow not. Yet thou railest thus for an alien's sake on friends, on kin. Yet husband's cause, say'st thou, and wife's alike are strong, if she be wronged of him, or he find her committing folly in his halls. Yea, but in his hands is o'ermastering strength, but upon friends and parents leans her cause. Do I not justly then to aid mine own? Dotard, thou dotard, thou wouldst help me more by praise than slurring of my leadership. Not of her will, but heaven's, came Helen's trouble, and a great boon bestowed she thus on Greece. For they which were unschooled to arms and war turned them to brave deeds. Fellowship in fight is the great teacher of all things to men. And if I, soon as I beheld my wife, forbore to slay her, wise was I herein. For well that Phocus ne'er had been slain by thee. Thus have I met thee in good will, not wrath. If thou wax passionate, thou shalt but win an aching tongue. My gain in forethought lies.
Refrain you, better far were this, from such wild words, lest both together err.
Me, what evil customs hold in Greece? When hosts rear trophies over vanquished foes, men count not this the battle toiler's work. Nay, but their captain filches the renown. Amidst 10,001 he raised a spear, wrought one man's work, no more, yet hath more praise. In proud authority's pomp men sit and scorn the city's common folk, that they be naught. Yet are those others wiser 1,000-fold, had wisdom but audacity for ally. Even so thou and thy brother sit enthroned, puffed up by Troy's fall and your generalship, by others' toils and pains exalted high. But I will teach thee never more to count Paris of Ida, foe more stern than Peleus. Except thou vanish from this roof with speed, thou and thy childless daughter, whom my son by the hair shall grasp and hale her through these halls. The barren heifer, who will not endure the fruitful, seeing herself hath children none. What of her womb from bearing is shut up? Childless of issue must mine house abide? Hence from her thralls. E'en let me see the man who will let me from unmanacling her wrists. Uplift thee, that the trembling hands of eld may now unravel these thongs' twisted knots. Thus, O thou dastard, hast thou galled her wrists? Didst think to enmesh a bull or lion here? Didst fear lest she should snatch a sword and chase thee hence? Steal hither neath mine arms, my baron. Help loose thy mother's bonds. I'll rear thee yet in Phthia, their grim foe. If spear renown and battle fame be ta'en from Sparta's sons, in all else are ye meanest of mankind.
This race of old men may no man restrain, nor guard him 'gainst their sudden fiery mood.
O hastily thou rushest into railing. I came to Tyre, not for violent deeds, and will do naught unkingly, nor endure. Now, seeing that my leisure serveth not, home will I go. For not from Sparta far, some certain town there is, our friend, time was, but now our foe. Against her will I march, leading mine host, and bow her neath my sway. Soon as things there be ordered to my mind, I will return, will meet my marriage kin openly, speak my mind, and hear reply. And if he punish her, and be henceforth temperate, he shall find me temperate too. But if he rage, shall meet his match in rage, yea, shall find deeds of mine to match his own. But for thy words, nothing I reck of them. Thou art like a creeping shadow, voice thine all, impotent to do anything save talk.
Exit.
Pass on, my child, sheltered beneath mine arms, and hapless thou. Caught in a raging storm, thou hast come into a windless haven's calm.
Oh, the gods reward thee, ancient, thee and thine, who hast saved my son and me, the evil-starred. Yet see to it, lest where loneliest is the way, these fall on us, and hale me thence by force, marking how thou art old, how I am weak, this boy a babe. Give thou heed unto this, lest, though we escape now, we be taken yet.
Out on thy words, a woman's faint-heart speech. Pass on, whose hand shall stay you? At his peril he toucheth. By heaven's grace o'er hosts of horsemen and countless men of arms I rule in Phthia. I am yet unbowed, not old as thou dost think. Yea, if I flash but a glance on such an one, shall I put him to rout, old though I be. Stronger a stout-heart greybeard is than youth's many. What boots a coward's burly bulk?
Exeunt Peleus, Andromache, Molossus, and attendants.
Thou wert better unborn, save of noble fathers descended, in halls of the rich thou abide. If the high-born have wrong, for his championing gathers a host that shall strike on his side. There is honour for them that be published the scions of princely houses. The tide of time never drowneth the story of fathers heroic. It flasheth defiance to death from its deathless glory. But a victory stained, best forego it, if thy triumph must rest to thy shame the right. Yea, 'tis sweet at the first unto mortals, I know it, but barren in time's long flight doth it wax. 'Tis as infamy's cloud o'er thy towers. Nay, this be my song, the delight of my days, and the prize worth winning, that I wield no dominion in home's bride bowers, nor o'er men, that I may not unsinning. O ancient of Aeacus' line! Now know I, when Lapithans dashing on centaurs charged victorious, there did thy world-famed war-spear shine, that on Argos riding the havenless brine, thou didst burst through the gates of the clashing rocks on the sea-quest glorious. And when great Zeus's son, in the days overpast, round Ilium the meshes of slaughter had cast, as ye sped unto Europe returning, there too was thy famed star burning, for the half of the glory was thine.
Enter Nurse.
Oh dear, my friends, how evil in the steps of evil on this day still followeth! For now my lady Hermione within, deserted by her father, conscience stricken for that her plotted crime of slaughtering Andromache and her son is fain to die, dreading her husband, lest for these her deeds he drive her from yon halls with infamy, or slay her who would fain have slain the guiltless. And scarce when she essayed to hang herself, her watching servant stayed her, from her hand catching the sword and wresting it away. With such fierce anguish seeth she her sins already wrought. O friends, my strength is spent, dragging my mistress from the noose of death. O enter ye yon halls, deliver her from death, for oft newcomers more prevail in such an hour than once familiar friends.
Lo, in the palace hear we servants' cries, touching that thing whereof thou hast made report. Hapless, she is like to prove how bitterly she mourns her crimes, for, fleeing forth the house, eager to die, she hath scaped her servants' hands.
Hermione rushes onto the stage.
Woe's me! With shriek on shriek I will make of mine hair a rending, will tear with ruining fingers my red furrowed cheek.
Daughter, what wilt thou do? Wilt mar thy form?
Alas, and well a day! Hence from my head, thou gossamer thread of my wimple, float on the wind away.
Child, veil thy bosom, gird thy vesture folds.
What have I to do with my vesture to veil my bosom, when bared are the crimes I have dared against my lord, bared naked to light?
Grievest thou to have contrived thy rival's death?
Oh, yea, for my murderous daring I wail, for my fury burst. O woman accursed! O woman accursed in all men's sight!
Thy lord shall yet forgive thee this thy sin.
Oh, why didst thou wrest that sword from my hand? Give it back, dear friend. Be the brand thrust home. Mine hanging, why didst thou withstand?
What? Should I leave thee thus distraught to die?
Woe's me for my destiny! Oh, for the fire! I would hail it my friend. Oh, to the height of a score to ascend, to crash through the trees of the mountain, to plunge mid the sea, to die, that the nether gloom shadows may welcome me.
Why fret thyself for this? Heaven's visitation sooner or later cometh on all men.
Thou hast left me, my father, hast left, as a bark by the tide, left stranded and stripped of the last sea plashing oar. He shall slay me, shall slay. 'Neath the roof that knew me as a bride shall I dwell nevermore. To the feet of what statue of gods shall the suppliant fly? Or crouched at the bondwoman's knees like a slave shall I lie? Oh, that from Phthia, a bird dark winged, I were soaring, or were such as the pine wrought galley that flew, the first of the ships of earth, her swift course oaring through the crags dark blue.
My child, thy frenzy of rage I praised not then when thou against the Trojan dame didst sin, nor praise the frenzy of dread that shakes thee now. Not thus thy lord will thrust his wife away by weak words of barbarian woman swayed. In thee he wed no captive torn from Troy, nay, but a prince's child, and get with thee rich dowry from a city of golden wheel. Nor will thy father, as thou fearest, child, forsake and let thee from these halls be driven. Nay, pass within, make not thyself a show before this house, lest thou shouldst get thee shame before this palace seen of men, my child.
But lo, an outland stranger, alien seeming, with hasty steps to usward journeyeth.
End of Part 3. Part 4 of Andromache by Euripides, translated by Arthur Sanders Way. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Enter Orestes.
Dames of a foreign land, be these the halls and royal palace of Achilles' son?
Thou sayest, but who art thou that askest this?
Agamemnon's son, and Clytemnestra's. I, my name Orestes, to Zeus's oracle, bound at Dodona, seeing I am come to Phthia. Good it seems that I inquire of my kinswoman, if she lives and thrives, Hermione of Sparta. Though she dwell in a far land from us, she is all as dear.
O haven in a storm, by shipmen seen, Agamemnon's son, by these thy knees I pray, pity me of whose lot thou questionest, afflicted me. With arms as suppliant wreaths strong to constrain, I clasp thy very knees.
What ails thee? Have I erred, or see I clear? Menelaus' daughter here, this household's queen.
Yea, the one daughter, Helen, Tyndarus' child, bare in his halls unto my sire, doubt not.
O healer Phoebus, grant from woes release. What ails thee? Art thou wronged of gods or men?
Of myself partly, partly of my lord, in part of some god. Ruin is everywhere.
Now what affliction to a childless wife could hap, except as touching wedlock right?
That mine affliction is, thou promptest well.
What leman in thy stead doth thy lord love?
The captive woman that was Hector's wife.
An ill tale that a man should have two wives.
Even so it was, and I against it fought.
Didst thou for her devise a woman's vengeance?
Ay, death for her and for her base-born child.
And slewest them, or some mischance hath foiled thee?
Old Peleus, championing the baser cause.
Did none in this blood-shedding take thy part?
My father came from Sparta, even for this.
How? Overmastered by the old man's hand?
Nay, but by reverence, and forsakes me now.
I see it. For thy deeds thou fear'st thy lord.
Death is within his right. What can I plead? But I beseech thee, by our kin god Zeus, help me from this land, far as I may flee, or to my father's home. These very halls seem now to have a voice to hoot me forth. The land of Phthia hates me. If my lord come home from Phoebus' oracle ere my flight, on shamefullest charge I die, or shall be thrall unto his paramour, till now my slave. How, then, shall one ask, camest thou so to err? 'Twas pestilent women sought to me, and ruined, which spake and puffed me up with words like these: Wilt thou suffer yon base captive thrall within thy halls to share thy bridal couch? By heaven's queen, were it in mine halls, she should not see light and reap the harvest of my bed. And I gave ear unto these sirens' words, these crafty, knavish, subtle gossip mongers, and swelled with wind of folly. Why behooved to spy upon my lord? I had all my need. Great riches, in his palace was I queen. The children I might bear should be true born, but hers, the bastards, half thrall unto mine. But never, never, yea, twice o'er I say it, ought men of wisdom, such as have a wife, suffer that women visit in their halls the wife. They are teachers of iniquity. One for her own ends beckons on to sin. One that hath fallen craves fellowship in shame, and of sheer wantonness many tempt. And so men's homes are poisoned. Therefore guard ye well, with bolts and bars, the portals of your halls, for nothing wholesome comes when enter in strange women, nay, but mischief manifold.
Thou hast loosened a reinless tongue against thy sisters. In thee might one forgive it, yet behoves woman with woman's frailty gently deal.
Wise was the rede of him who taught that men should hear the reasonings of the other side. I, knowing what confusions vexed this house, and of the feud twixt thee and Hector's wife, kept watch and waited whether thou wilt stay here, or, dismayed with dread of that spear thrall, out of these halls were minded to avoid. I came, not by thy message drawn, so much as from this house to help thee, shouldst thou grant me speech of thee as thou dost. Mine wast thou once, but livest with this man through thy father's baseness, who, ere he marched unto the coasts of Troy, betrothed thee mine, thereafter promised thee to him that hath thee now, if he smote Troy. Soon as to Greece returned Achilles' son, thy father I forgave, thy lord I prayed to set thee free. I pleaded mine hard lot, the fate so haunting me, that I might wed from friends indeed, but scarce of stranger folk, banished as I am banished from mine home. Then he with insolent scorn cast in my teeth my mother's blood, the gory visaged fiends. And I, my pride fell with mine house's fortunes, was heart wrung, yet endured my lot, and loth departed of thy love bereft. But now thy fortune's dice have fallen awry, and in affliction plunged dost thou despair. Hence will I lead and give thee to thy sire. For mighty is kinship, and in evil days there is naught better than the bond of blood.
My marriage, 'tis my father shall take thought thereof. Herein decision is not mine. But help thou me with all speed forth this house, lest my lord coming home prevent me yet, or Peleus learn my flight from his son's halls, and follow in our track with chasing steeds.
Fear not the greybeard's hand, yea, no wise fear Achilles' son. His insolence cup is full. Such toils of doom by this hand woven for him, with murder meshes round him steadfast staked, are drawn. Thereof I speak not ere the time, but when I strike, the Delphian rock shall know. This mother murderer, if the oaths be kept, of spear confederates in the Delphian land, shall prove none else shall wed thee. Mine of right, to his sorrow, shall he ask redress of Phoebus for a sire's blood. Nor shall repentance now avail him, who would make the god amends. By that god's wrath and slanders sown of me, die shall he foully, and shall know mine hate. For the god turns the fortune of his foes to overthrow, nor suffereth their high thoughts.
Exeunt Orestes and Hermione.
O Phoebus, who gavest to Ilium a glory of diadem towers on her heights, and O master of sea depths, whose grey gleaming steeds o'er the hoary surf ridges speed, to the war god, the waster with spears, for what cause for a spoil did ye cast her, whom your own hands had fashioned, dishonoured to lie in wretchedness, her that was Troy? And by Simois ye yoked to the chariot's fleet horses, unnumbered, in races of blood which contended, whose lords for no wreaths ran their terrible courses, where the princes of Ilium to Hades descended, where upstreameth no more with the altar flames blended, the odour of incense to dream through the sky, round the feet of immortals from her that was Troy. And Atreides hath passed for on him lighted slaughter at the hands of a wife, and with murder she bought her death at the hands of her child to receive it. For a god's hest levine wise glared, bodings of death on her, doomings declared, in the hour Agamemnon's son forth fared to his temple from Argos, then thundered it o'er him, and he slew her, he murdered the mother that bore him. God Phoebus, must I believe it? And wherever the Hellenes were gathered was mourning of wives for their lost ones, the sons unreturning, and of brides from their bowers of espousal departing to another lord's couch. Oh, not only on thee down swooping fell anguish of misery, nor alone on thy loved ones, but Hellas must be bowed neath the plague and on sweeping, like a cloud whence the death rain of Hades was dripping, past the scourge, o'er the Phrygians' fair harvest fields darting.
Enter Peleus, attended.
Women of Phthia, unto that I ask mate answer, for a rumour have I heard that Menelaus' child hath left these halls and fled away. In haste I come to learn if this be sooth, for we which bide at home should bear the burdens of our absent friends.
Peleus, truth hast thou heard. 'Twere for my shame to hide the ills wherein my lot is cast. Oh, yea, the queen is gone, fled from these halls.
With what fear stricken? Tell me all the tale.
Dreading her lord, lest forth the home he cast her.
For that her murder plot against his son?
Yea, of the captive dame adread withal.
Forth with her father went she, or with whom?
Agamemnon's son hath led her from the land.
Yea, furthering what hope? Would he wed her?
Yea, and for thy son's son he plotted death.
Lying in wait or face to face in fight?
With Delphians in Loxias' holy place.
Ah me, grim peril this. Away with speed, let one depart unto the Pythian hearth, and to our friends there tell the deeds here done, or ever Achilles' son be slain of foes.
Enter messenger.
Woe's me! Woe's me! Bearing what tidings of mischance to thee, ancient and all that love, my lord, I come.
O my prophetic soul, what ill it bodes!
Thy son's son, ancient Peleus, is no more. Such dagger thrusts hath he received of men in Delphi, and that stranger of Mycenae.
Oh, what wilt do, O ancient? Fall not thou, uplift thee.
I am naught, 'tis my death. Faileth my voice, my limbs beneath me fail.
Hearken, if thou wouldst also avenge thy friends. Upraise thy body, hear what deed was done.
O fate, how hast thou compassed me about, the hapless upon eld's extremest verge! How perished he, my one son's only son? Tell, though it blast mine ears, fain would I hear.
When unto Phoebus' world-famed land we came, 3 radiant courses of the sun we gave to gazing, and with beauty filled our eyes. This bred mistrust. The folk in the gods' close that dwelt drew into knots and muttering rings, while Agamemnon's son passed through the town, and whispered deadly hints in each man's ear. See ye yon man who prowls the gods' shrines through, shrines full of gold, the nation's treasuries, who on the self-same mission comes again, as erst he came to rifle Phoebus' shrine. Therefrom ill rumors surged the city through, their magistrates the halls of council thronged, and the gods' treasure warders of their part set guards along the temple colonnades. But we, yet knowing naught of this, took sheep, the nurslings of the glades Parnassian, and went and stood beside the holy hearths, with public hosts and Pythian oracle seers. And one spake thus: Prince, what request for thee shall we make to the god? For what comest thou? To Phoebus, said he, would I make amends for my past sin, for I required of him once satisfaction for my father's blood. Then was Orestes' slander proved of might. In the hoarse murmur from the throng, He lies, he hath come for felony. On he passed within the temple fence before the oracle to pray, and was in act to sacrifice. Then rose with swords from ambush screened by bays a troop against him. Clytemnestra's son was of them, weaver of this treason web, full in view standing. Still to the god he prayed, when lo, with swords keen whetted unawares, they stab Achilles' son, a man unarmed. Back drew he, stricken, yet not mortally. He drew his sword, and snatching helm and shield, upon a column's nails uphung, he stood on the altar steps, a warrior grim to see, and cried to Delphi's son, and this he asked: Why would ye slay me, who on holy mission have come? On what charge am I doomed to die? But of the multitude that surged around none answered word, but ever their hands hurled at stones. Then by that hell storm, battered from all sides, with shield outstretched he warded him therefrom, to this, to that side turning still the targe, but naught availed, for in one storm the darts, the arrows, javelins, twy-point spits, outlaunched and slaughter knives, came hurtling to his feet. Dread war dance hadst thou seen of thy son's son, from darts swift swerving. Now they hemmed him round, on all sides, giving him no breathing space. Then from the altar's hearth of sacrifice, leaping with that leap which the Trojans knew, he dashed upon them. They, like doves that spy the hawk high wheeling, turned their backs in flight. Many in mingled turmoil fell, by wounds or trampled of others in strait corridors. Unhallowed clamor broke the temple hush, and far cliffs echoed. As in a calm amid storm, my lord stood flashing in his gleaming arms, till from the inmost shrine there pealed a voice, awful and thrilling, kindling that array and battleward turning. Then Achilles' son fell, stabbed with a brand keen whetted through the side by a man of Delphi, one that laid him low, with helpers many. But when he was down, who did not thrust the steel or cast the stone, hurling and battering? All his form was marred, so goodly moulded, by their wild beast wounds. Then him beside the altar lying dead, they cast forth from the incense breathing shrine. But with all speed our hands uplifted him, and to thee bear him to lament, with wail and weeping, ancient, and to ensepulchre. Thus he that giveth oracles to the world, he that is judge to all men of the right, hath wreaked revenge upon Achilles' son. Yea, hath remembered like some evil man an old feud. How then shall he be wise?
Enter bearers with corpse of Neoptolemus.
Lo, lo, where the prince, high borne on the bier, from the Delphian land to his home draweth near. Alas for the strong death quelled, alas for thee, stricken with eld. Not as thou wouldst Achilles' Scion, to his home doth thou welcome, the whelp of the lion. In oneness of weird, in affliction drear, art thou linked with the dead, lying here.
Woe for the sight breaking on me, that mine hands usher in at my door. Ah me, 'tis my death. Ah me, O city of Thessaly, no child have I. This hath undone me, neither seed in mine halls any more. Woe for me! Whitherward turning shall mine eyes see the gladness of yore? O lips, cheek, and hands of my yearning, O had a god but o'erthrown thee 'neath Ilium on Simois' shore.
Yea, he had fallen with honour, had he died thus, ancient, and thy lot were happier so.
Woe's me for the deadly alliance that hath blasted mine city, mine home. Ah, my son, that the curse-haunted line of thy bride unto me, unto mine evil boding, had trapped not my scion's dear limbs in the toils of the tomb, and the net of Hermione's flinging. Oh, that lightning had first dealt her doom! And alas, that the arrow, death bringing to thy sire, stirred a man for defiance of a god against Phoebus to come.
With a wail ringing up to the sky, in the measures of Hades' abider will I uplift for my lord stricken low, lamentations outcry.
With a wail to the heavens upborne, I take up the strain. Ah me, and I mourn, and I weep, the unblessed, the ill-fated, the eld forlorn.
'Tis God's doom, thine affliction God hath wrought.
O my beloved one, lone in his halls hast thou left an old man of his children bereft.
Before thy sons should thou have died.
And shall I not rend mine hair? And shall I from smiting spare mine head from the ruining hand? O city, see, how Phoebus of children twain hath despoiled me.
Ill-starred, who hast seen and suffered evil's stress, what life through the rest of thy days shalt thou have?
Childless, forlorn, my woes are limitless. I shall drain sorrow's dregs till I sink to the grave.
Gods crowned with joy thy spousals, all for naught.
Fleeted and vanished, and fallen my glories are. Far from my boasts I soaring, oh far.
Lone in the lonely halls must thou abide.
No city is mine, none now. Down sceptre in dust lie thou. Thou daughter of Nereus, from twilight of thy sea hall shall behold me in ruin and wrack to the earth as I fall.
What ho, what ho! What stirs in the air? What fragrance divine? Look yonder! O mark it, companions mine, some god through the stainless sky doth speed, and the car swings low to the plains of Phthia, the nurse of the steed.
Thetis descends to the stage.
Peleus, for mine espousal's sake of old, to thee I, Thetis, come from Nereus' halls, and first I counsel thee. Repine not thou overmuch for the woes that compass thee. I too, who ought to have borne no child of sorrow, lost him I bear to thee, my fleet-foot son Achilles, who in Hellas had no peer. Now hearken, while I tell my coming's cause. Thou to the Pythian temple journey. There bury thou this thy dead, Achilles' seed, Delphi's reproach, that his tomb may proclaim his death, his murder, by Orestes' hand, and that war-captive dame Andromache in the Molossian land must find a home, in lawful wedlock, joined to Helenus, with that child who alone is left alive, of Aeacus' line, and kings Molossian, from him one after other long shall reign in bliss, for ancient nowise, thus thy line and mine is destined to be brought to naught. No, neither Troy, the gods yet hold her dear, albeit by Pallas' eager hate she fell. Thee too, so learn what grace comes of my couch, a goddess I, whose father was a god, will deliver from all mortals' ill, and set thee above decay and death, a god. Henceforth in Nereus' palace thou with me, as god with goddess, shalt forever dwell. Thence, rising dry-shod from the sea, shalt thou behold Achilles, thy beloved son and mine, abiding in his island home, on the white strand, within the Euxine sea. Now fare thou to the Delphians' god-built burg, bearing this corpse, and hide it in the ground. Then seek the deep cave 'neath the ancient rock Sepius, abide there. Tarry till I rise with 50 chanting Nereids from the sea, to lead thee thence. For all the doom of fate must thou accomplish, Zeus' will is this. Refrain thou then from grieving for the dead, for unto all men is this lot ordained of heaven, from all the debt of death is due.
O couchmate mine, O high-born majesty, offspring of Nereus, hail thou! Worthy thee, worthy thy children are the things thou dost. Goddess, at thy command my grief shall cease. Him will I bury and go to Pelion's glens, where in mine arms I clasped thy loveliest form.
Exit Thetis.
Now shall not whoso is prudent choose his wife, and for his children mates of noble strain. A nurse no longing for an evil bride, not though she bring his house a regal dower. So shall men ne'er receive ill of the gods.
O the works of the gods! In manifold forms they reveal them. Manifold things unhoped for the gods to accomplishment bring. And the things that we looked for the gods deign not to fulfill them. And the paths undiscerned of our eyes the gods unseal them. So fell this marvellous thing.
Exeat omnes. End of Part 4. End of Andromache by Euripides, translated by Arthur Sanders Way.